The morning broadcast opened with a sense of urgency, reflecting the third day of a government shutdown that has drawn fierce political reactions and growing public concern. The focus soon shifted to the agricultural sector, an industry that often finds itself at the front lines whenever Washington gridlocks. US Agricultural Secretary Brooke Rollins joined the program and without hesitation framed the crisis as political sabotage. She said, "Clearly, this is a radical Democrat shutdown for radical Democrat reasons, driven by a radical Democrat, Chuck Schumer. And the Schumer shutdown means that, as per usual, here we go again, putting illegal aliens first, opening borders, giving benefits to those who cross our border illegally, weakening national defense and abandoning our farmers. It's one thing after another with the Democrats, and here we are again." Rollins argued that her department was trying to keep vital programs running, but was hamstrung by the political standoff. She reminded the audience that the government had passed 13 clean continuing resolutions in the past to keep the government open and said the administration remained willing to negotiate. She criticised Congress for, as she put it, holding our farmers, our mothers and children hostage. WIC and many government programs that are administered by the US Department of Agriculture are being brought to a screeching halt. The Democrats' complexity blows their mind again. When asked how long the shutdown might continue, Rollins admitted the timeline was uncertain. She explained that her department was working tirelessly to keep essential programs like food stamps afloat. Yet she warned that if funding was not restored, programs supporting women, infants and children could run out of money in just a few weeks. The secretary added that President Trump was closely monitoring the situation, aware that USDA, one of the largest federal agencies, had many furloughed workers. She said, "I just don't understand what Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries are thinking. It doesn't make any sense. Again, this president will keep fighting for America and working to get us to a solution." The conversation turned to the Farm Bill, which had expired when the government ran out of money on Tuesday night. Rollins emphasised that the bill's lapse put crucial programs at risk. She spoke about the president's vision for getting our great American products out across the world while ensuring onshoring for national defence and national security reasons. She called it a bridge to ensure that those who make the food and the fuel will be supported in moving to the next round of the American economy. We are entering a golden age for America. Yet she warned that all that progress had now ground to a halt. She framed the situation as a test of priorities, insisting that Republicans were ready to move forward while Democrats chose to block progress. Her words were aimed at showing that the political divide was directly affecting the lives of farmers and families. Attention then shifted to the upcoming high-stakes meeting between President Donald Trump and China's President Xi Jinping. Agriculture was set to feature prominently on the agenda, especially the question of soybeans. The host asked Rollins what she wanted to see in those discussions. Rollins responded with a firm defence of the president's efforts. She said, "President Trump is so wholly committed to our farmers, our ranchers, to the American food supply. He understands the importance of being able to feed and fuel ourselves in terms of remaining a world superpower." She highlighted the administration's success in negotiating more than a dozen trade deals with countries like Indonesia, Japan, Taiwan, the United Kingdom, the European Union and Australia, nations that had previously been hard to reach. Rollins stressed that the problem lay with China's failure to honour its commitments under the 2019 trade agreement. She criticised the Biden administration for not holding Beijing accountable, arguing that this had abandoned our agriculture community, especially our farmers. Rollins added, "The fact that our chief negotiator, the world's, I believe, greatest businessman, our president right now, is unwilling to let any of this fly. Yesterday was another marker, a line in the sand that China needs to stop playing games. We've got to move forward and they need our products." The long-term solution is that we can't solely rely on a couple of countries. That's why we're opening markets around the world. I think not just for farmers, but for America, we're heading into a golden age of prosperity that's going to be unprecedented in our history. As the APEC summit approached, questions arose about tariffs, an issue that has long been a sticking point in US-China trade relations. Rollins explained that while some tariffs averaged around 10%, others were far higher, depending on the product. She hinted that any future agreement with Beijing would need to enshrine firm commitments. The discussion then turned to the pressing humanitarian challenges caused by natural disasters. The Secretary was asked about the more than $50 million granted to cover agricultural losses in Georgia after Hurricane Helene and another $38 million for South Carolina's recovery efforts. Rollins revealed that the shutdown had stalled the release of these funds, saying, "We can't move any money out to the farmers that Joe Biden abandoned. We were working to ensure we could get them to the next harvest with loans done, but now it's all really tough. This is completely the responsibility of the Democrats, and we've got to get this country moving." She then referred to a recent post by President Trump, adding, "I think the president tweeted within the last few minutes that he's going to use this as an opportunity to continue to fulfill his promise to the American people of a lean and efficient government, ensuring that every taxpayer dollar is spent at its highest and best use, returning money to taxpayers." Throughout the interview, Rollins painted the situation as a battle over priorities, one that pits American farmers, families, and economic resilience against what she described as political obstruction. Her words reflected not only the immediate stakes of the shutdown, but also the broader narrative of a country wrestling with how to feed itself, trade with competitors, and recover from natural disasters while navigating fierce political divides. The conversation revealed an intricate web of domestic politics and international trade. Farmers, she argued, were being held hostage by legislative gridlock even as their livelihoods were further threatened by delayed disaster aid and uncertain export markets. For the Secretary, the crisis was both a warning and a rallying call, highlighting that agricultural policy is inseparable from national security and global diplomacy. As the broadcast wrapped up, the underlying message was clear. The standoff in Washington is not just a political spectacle, but a disruption with real consequences for those who work the land and feed the nation. The upcoming meeting with China, the stalled aid for hurricane-hit farmers, and the expiration of the Farm Bill all underscored a broader truth. Domestic and international decisions are deeply intertwined, and the path forward will test not only leaders in Washington, but the resilience of America's agricultural heartland.